Polls are now closed in the primary election for the recalls across the state. Let's get right to the results.
On the Democratic side of things, Milwaukee Mayor Tom Barrett will be the candidate to take on Governor Scott Walker in June. Preliminary results show he took 56% of the Democratic vote. He edged out fellow frontrunner and former Dane County Executive Kathleen Falk, who was second with 36% of the vote. The other three candidates had single-digit percentages.
On the other side of the ballot, as expected, Governor Scott Walker beat out challenger Arthur Cole Riggs. Governor Walker easily won with more than 95% of the vote. The voting results set up a rematch from the 2010 election when Governor Walker beat out Tom Barrett by 5 percentage points.
And breaking it down closer to home, unofficial results from La Crosse County show similar results. Democratic voters chose Tom Barrett with nearly 50% of the votes. Meanwhile, the Republican side was similar to the statewide results. Governor Scott Walker, as you just heard, took 95% of the local votes.
And the now Democratic candidate, Tom Barrett, is addressing his supporters in Milwaukee as we speak. Let's go ahead and listen in to what he has to say.
Who will be independent, and I will be independent. I will not be beholden to out-of-state special interests. And we all know what's going on here. Scott Walker, instead of staying home in Wisconsin and focusing on creating jobs here, has decided that he is going to be a rock star to the far right in this nation. And he has traveled to California, to Texas, to Illinois again, to Florida. You name it, he's been there. I think he was in Iowa yesterday trying to raise money. And he's trying to raise money talking about how successful he's been going after workers' rights in this country. And he wants to set the example. Well, it's time we set the example in this state and tell him that we are not going to do that. The message we are sending tonight is that Wisconsin wants a governor who is going to stay home, who doesn't want to be a rock star to the far right, but wants to create jobs. Because there are too many people in this state who are hurting. There are too many people in the middle class, people who want to be in the middle class, who have to work 2 jobs, people who don't have health insurance, people who want their children to get an education just like everyone in this room does. But what we have to understand is who he is listening to. He is not listening to the people of this state. If he were listening to the people of this state, he would not be taking this tour around the country. He would be staying right here, focusing on jobs. That's the challenge that we have. And this is a historic election. We all know it's a historic election. And there are some fundamental questions that the people of this state are going to ask themselves as they prepare to vote 4 weeks from today. Do we want a governor who has divided this state like it's never been divided before?
All right. Also, Governor Scott Walker is speaking tonight. We go live now to Waukesha to hear what he has to say about his big win tonight.
Our reforms have helped lower property taxes on a medium-valued home for the first time in 12 years, and we're going to keep lowering them as long as we're in office. Our reforms have helped the people of this state, the hardworking people of this state, create more than 15,600 new jobs in the first 3 months of this year alone, and we're just getting started putting people back to work. You know, and just last week, another one of those rankings came out of the best and the worst states to do business in. You know, for years, long before I was governor, we were in the bottom 10. The bottom 10. Last week, those rankings came up, and for the first time, Wisconsin finally broke the top 20. We're not done yet. We're putting more people back to work. But you know what? In the story about that survey and the surveys we've seen from across the state, as much as employers, as much as small business owners appreciate the direction we've taken to move this state forward, you know what their biggest concern is? That things might change on June 5th. And see, really, for all of us, you here and everybody back at home, that's the real choice that voters will have 4 weeks from today. Do we go backwards or do we go forwards? Do we go back to the days of double-digit tax increases, $1 billion budget deficits, a record job loss? Or do we take the positive foundation that we built together to move Wisconsin forward?
Again, that is Governor Scott Walker, of course, speaking tonight on his win in the primary election.